The origins of gift-giving behavior in the animal kingdom. Like many of our modern behaviors, the act of gift-giving has a history spanning thousands of years. Intriguingly, its origins extend far beyond humanity, deep into the animal kingdom. This behavior has been observed in a myriad of species, from scorpion flies to crows, fireflies to bonobos, and grasshoppers to penguins. These animals expend energy to acquire something and give it to another without direct expectation of return, a concept we might call altruistic gift-giving. However, in animals, this behavior doesn't manifest as exchanging the latest model of smartphones. It's more about exchanging items of value and significance to that species. For example, scorpion flies collect colorful items like tacks or discarded Lego pieces, combining them with their saliva to create gifts. Bonobos take this selflessness a step further by sharing food even with non-relatives, a significant act considering that they are giving away vital food resources without direct reciprocation. At first glance, the evolutionary reasons behind the gift-giving behavior can be perplexing. Why would animals partake in an act that seems to waste energy in the survival race? The answer isn't as straightforward as one might think. Gift-giving is not always an unreciprocated act. Species that engage in this behavior often have complex social structures and high cognitive functions. For instance, crows and parrots, among the most intelligent bird species, also partake in gift-giving. Bonobos, closely related to humans, are among the most cognitively advanced species. These animals are aware that the gifts they give are not entirely without reciprocation. Even if they are not consciously aware, the evolutionary advantages of gift-giving in social species are significant. By giving gifts, they strengthen social bonds, which can lead to benefits like increased influence within the group, support during challenging times, and faster ascension in social hierarchies. Nuptial gifts. Why do males give gifts to females? In species where cognitive abilities or complex social relationships are less pronounced, gift-giving behavior is still prevalent but typically targeted. Gifts are often given to selected mates, usually in the context of courtship. In biology, these are known as nuptial gifts. For example, the male Pissarra mirabilis spider wraps captured insects in silk as gifts for potential mates, and the females base their choice of mate on the quality of these gifts. Similarly, the saliva-coated gifts of scorpion flies are intended for prospective mates. Many insect species present nuptial gifts in the form of nutrient-rich sperm packets during mating, which the females consume post-coitus to gather energy for their offspring. Gentoo penguins and the art of pebble gift-giving. Known as Gentoo penguins, the males of this species try to persuade females to mate by presenting them with the smoothest and most round pebbles they can find on the beach. This parallels the human practice of giving engagement rings, particularly diamond rings, which manipulates a deep evolutionary psychology in people. As humans, we give diamonds as matrimonial gifts, which are essentially just shiny stones. Before diamonds, it was customary to give gold equivalent to the woman's weight or valuable assets like land and livestock. Earlier still, bright seashells were exchanged, or political alliances between families were formed as part of nuptial gifts. Despite living in concrete buildings and driving metal cars, we are not so different from our ancestors. Is gift-giving in humans a signal of virtue? In humans, gift-giving isn't just about demonstrating, "Look how selflessly I think of you." Even if it were, this would be a form of signaling virtue, as being selfless is valued in society. By displaying selflessness through gift-giving, we are inadvertently trying to increase our value in the eyes of others. As long as we carry our evolutionary heritage like a genetic stamp, we cannot escape certain fundamental evolutionary rules. But gift-giving in humans isn't just about showing selflessness. At its simplest, gifts serve as a contract in social relationships. When you give someone a gift, you create a sense of obligation, hoping that this contract will eventually benefit you. If taken further, in unethical situations, this becomes bribery. The supposed selfless act of giving a gift can get you out of bad situations in corrupt countries. Gift-giving and caregiving. Why do we care for others like children and the elderly? Gift-giving is not an isolated behavior. It's an extension of the broader pattern of caregiving. Consider how we care for babies or the elderly. Even if we don't know their exact needs, we try to figure them out and act accordingly. For example, if a baby cries, we might feed it to satisfy its hunger. If an elderly person cannot cross the street, we offer our arm for balance. We do this because selflessness is often evolutionarily advantageous. I won't extend this video by diving into all the evolutionary benefits of altruism, but as we have demonstrated mathematically, observationally, and experimentally, populations that exhibit at least some level of altruism are almost always more successful than entirely selfish populations. The details of this are a topic for another video. If you don't want to miss it, make sure to turn on channel notifications now. How do we really choose gifts? When we give gifts, we often try to guess what the recipient might need or want, aiming to bring them joy. But it's not exactly that straightforward. Ideally, gift selection should be based on the recipient's real existential needs. Yet many people choose gifts more for the anticipated excitement, surprise, and joy they will see when the gift is opened. Even in seemingly altruistic behavior, it appears that the choices are more about pleasing the giver than the recipient. This makes sense as the release of hormones like endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin during the gift opening gives us a sense of reward and deepens our bond with the recipient. How does capitalism manipulate gift-giving behavior? Capitalism has transformed spontaneous acts of generosity or displays of interest into a mandatory practice tied to specific special days. Holidays like Christmas, Valentine's Day, and birthdays have turned into mass consumption spectacles. If you pay special attention to giving gifts on these days, think about the stress you feel as they approach or the guilt when you miss one. If it were truly about giving and thinking of someone, a thoughtful gift on any ordinary day would suffice. But if you miss a special day, you're in trouble. Today, the value of a gift is directly linked to its material nature. Exaggerated advertisements and the glamorization by television and social media equate a gift's value with the fanciest, most expensive, and extraordinary item within the giver's financial limits. This shift is a result of years of marketing tactics shaping our social fabric. No society chose to turn an ancient tradition into a ruthless spending spree. What really constitutes a meaningful gift? The sad truth is, apart from scenarios where someone desperately needs something, like a heater, people often prefer and remember experiential gifts, like a trip, a picnic, or a movie, which are less expensive and can be shared more easily. Despite this, billions are spent on gifts annually in many countries, with many returned because they are disliked or unsuitable. Tragically, especially for items like clothes or opened electronics that are accepted for returns, a large portion cannot be reintegrated into the economy and are sent directly to landfills. Repackaging and reselling these items as opened or second-hand is often too costly for large companies.